Round 3 is achievements, and we're starting with Max.
My fact for the achievements section is Vikings carved up the battlefield and also the pistes. It's argued that some of the first examples of downhill and Nordic skis were invented by the ancient Vikings in approximately the 6th to the 8th century AD. Examples have been found and carbon dated to around this time period. Ancient carvings from Sweden depict ski-clad archers hunting in the wilderness. So if you imagine someone doing a downhill ski session and then also picking off an elk or whatever they were hunting with a bow and arrow, that's quite the trick shot. They also applied this technology to carts to turn them into sleighs for carrying goods. There's an ongoing, so it hasn't actually been concluded yet, an ongoing fierce intellectual debate on the parallel evolution of skiing in Scandinavia and ancient China. And it is still anybody's game as to who invented it first.
I think chances are they probably invented it separately. So either way, it's ingenuity on the...
That's why I said parallel evolution. I'm fairly certain Nordic skiing was probably invented in Scandinavia.
Yeah.
Unlikely to be invented in China.
Well, no, but you know how you sometimes get the person who comes from China and go, we've got these slopey things back home. Yeah, we use these big wooden sticks for them.
The carbon dating of the... Well, it's only written accounts from China at the moment. From what I could tell from my brief piece of research on this, it's only written accounts that mention it long before the 6th to the 8th century AD. We're talking BC times in China that they mentioned strapping 2 planks to your feet. But, can you tell? There's physical examples of it in Scandinavia.
Wonder why that is.
The Chinese could be lying because they like to believe that they invented everything. Maybe. Please don't start a war with us, China. Anything fun about skiing?
When you said beast, I thought you were talking about fencing, because I heard battlefield carving, and I thought, you've got a piece like in fencing.
No.
What is a piece of fencing?
It's the strip that you fight on.
Is it called a piece?
Yeah.
I didn't know that. No, it's all about skis.
Okay.
Sorry to disappoint you.
No, sorry. I'm fairly sure they're linked in some kind of way, but it could just be by the word and the description.
Do you know what their skis were made of, though?
Wood. Entirely wood.
Not from what I've read, but I could possibly be wrong.
Shoot.
Oh, God, smack his fact.
Yeah, just destroy my fact for the second round.
My understanding, they were made from sharpened bone, which would be far more durable and have a better edge on an ice.
She's absolutely right, having said that. I now remember reading that, and I should have mentioned it.
Which is why they were
some of them would have been wood, some of them would have been bone. In that way,
the poles were made from wood and the skates themselves were made from bone, so that they would have the edge to go across the ice, etc.
And they also had examples of snowshoes from this period.
Were they also like tennis rackets?
Yes, they did look remarkably like
Did they invent tennis?
I'm no expert, so I'm going to not commit myself to that
tennis
one.
on the fjord.
Yeah, why not? Yes.
Ulrich the ball boy.
Who the hell cares? I'm not going to lose my tenure if I say yes, the Scandinavians invented tennis.
Really?
And they were good at it as well.
I'm seeing a real tangent here where just the Dragonborn somehow discovers that he is the Dragonborn by shouting out, out!
Out!
Jesus, what have you done? You've knocked the net over and everything.
It was clearly in.
Sorry, all my Viking accents seem to have the element of cockney to them.
I was going to say, they do, don't they?
Badger vomit shot.
Hey, the Viking, we will go.
A Viking.
Here we will go.
Have a banana.
Oh, bloody hell.
Oh, God. Yeah, I was going to say, unfortunately, all my knowledge of what these people might sound like comes from the Swedish chef.
Which is, in a way, slightly racist.
Well, no, the Swedes call it the Danish chef.
Oh, do they?
So it's not like he's not trying to sound Swedish, it's just what we call him. And they think he just sounds like nonsense, and it sounds a bit like Danish.
His speciality was spaghetti.
Really?
Why?
Well, yeah, but you can have...
Well, that's the same equivalent of the Vikings inventing tennis. It makes no sense.
Look, the Vikings did
The
invent the Vikings.
The Viking is on the ball.
Dun, 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 dun. The Nazi Floyd. So, Laura, I understand you have a fact about haircuts.
Okay, so there was a Viking prince who I believe was named Henry or Henrik, and he declared his love for the woman that he wished to marry. However, she sort of went, you're just a prince. Not too fussed about this right now.
Blew him off.
You've got nothing to you. Come back when you've got something a bit more substantial.
And he moved on with his life, and he was much happier.
And he went, okay, I will take over this land. I will conquer Norway. And whilst I do this, I shall never cut my hair. About 7 years later, he comes back having done this. He has conquered the whole of Norway, and he has not cut his hair. So on the night of his wedding night, after she'd accepted him for taking over Norway and not cutting his hair, they took him and oiled him and combed his hair. Anything you'd like to add, Kirby?
Do you mean they oiled his hair?
I think so.
Right, okay.
But
Sorry,
they might have also applied sweet oils to his body.
Oh no, I'm questioning this. This is a genuine question. When you said they oiled him, I just wasn't sure which bits.
Yeah, he was a bit creaky in the joints from all the fighting. And they realised that his hair was actually quite beautiful and lovely. And they renamed him from what the translation was of Henry the Horrible Haired to Henry of the Fine Hair. And he became first king of whole of Norway.
That's beautiful. That's a beautiful story. Did he not cut any of his hair?
No, apparently
Any of his hair?
Even during bikini season.
So he had a bit of a Gandalf going on.
I'm
You
not...
mean Gandalf of the face and not anything else, right?
Gandalf of the Bulls.
Gandalf had big eyebrows, a big beard, and a long nose. That's all I'm saying.
So yeah, I think that's quite an achievement to not cut your hair whilst you take over a country.
Yeah, quite impressive.
Oh, because you fancy some bird.
No, men. They'll do anything.
We've all been there.
No, nice fact. Okay, interesting. Phil, you're up next.
Hello. So, I would like to talk about the Viking World Tour. Having made it all the way around Western Europe, with evidence of their passing out as far east as the Volga in Russia.
Passing out as far east.
They did love
They
to
get to the
drink.
vodka.
Yeah, it's not that far.
Mead.
Oh, no, sorry, it was just your phrase of passing out in the Far East.
Is that like a euphemism for shitting or something?
No, passing out is when you fall asleep drunk.
Okay, so I read it out. That makes more sense. I wasn't really paying attention.
Why you just took a shot on going for a shit, didn't you? It could mean anything.
Everything.
Passing
Going
out.
for a
What do you pass out of yourself? It could be piss or shit. Let's go with shit. Why not?
Or the
shark.
The
shark.
Yeah,
Good pass.
yeah. So having passing out as far east as the Volga in Russia,
Extending out as far east as the Volga.
pushing out to as far as the Volga in Russia. In around 986, they reached North America and attempted to settle on now what is known as Newfoundland.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, they didn't get on too well with the locals, and with no support from the nearest Viking settlements in Greenland, it was considered a lost cause, and they only lasted a few years over there. However, 1,000 years later, the Hives managed to do better, achieving multiple gold records in the US. Leif Erikson, one of the leaders of the group, is credited with the discovery of America 500 years before Columbus.
This one keeps changing, actually.
That's it.
Yeah, this is you know Neil Gaiman, American Gods.
Not personally.
Right. Did a book called American Gods, which mentions the colonisation that you're talking about, and
Okay.
I mean even purely non-factual terms, because obviously it's a fantasy book.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the other things he mentions, because he did a lot of research for the book, is that they actually found ancient Egyptian kayaks. So we're talking pyramid times in trading with the people in America.
Really?
Yeah, we're talking two-man kayaks.
Unbelievable.
Two-man kayaks?
Two-man kayaks were discovered in America, and all these archaeologists went, "What?
You
Huh?"
got
And yeah,
no trip over the Atlantic is going to be worth it if you're just putting the amount of goods
Didn't they
that
buy-
a two-man kayak would have.
I'm fairly sure that didn't the
One
Americans
sack of
buy like a
grain.
large part of
Yeah.
land for some glass beads or something? Isn't that one of those famous American travesties against the indigenous people?
Yeah.
So
That may have been
I'm
the
pretty
highest.
sure if you can fit some stuff, if you can, got a couple of feathers and a rock cat, they could buy at least a small villa.
Never mind.
So Vikings apparently went to the States.
What did they call it?
I don't know, what did they call it?
Vinland.
Vinland.
They've called it Vinland or Vineland because when they got there and where they actually landed, they found lots of wild grapes and vines and things. But then there's the also other way of looking at it. Vin actually means pasture, and as you said earlier, that they went looking for greener land to farm and the rest of it. So it could have been either way, considering where Newfoundland is and the type of geography, it's got that would make sense. When they actually took settlement there and decided, this is where we want to stay and we're going to build here, they did this because they had no want for salmon either in the river or in the lake, larger salmon than they had ever seen before.
Cool. So round 3 was achievements, and are we going to go with Max's battlefield carving, Laura's anti-haircuts, or Phil's Viking World Tour? No, Max, which one are you going with?
I'm going with Laura's haircuts because I just like imagining the length of his hair by the end of that. He would have to conquer the entire of Scandinavia, and that hair must have been long. Like, long.
Laura, who are you going to go with?
I'm going to go with Philippe.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.
Will no bugger ever vote for me?
Oh, well, actually, because...
Then again, I joined one the last time I was on, so I've got nothing to complain about.
Yeah, because
You didn't join when you won.
Did I?
Yeah.
I thought I joined one with you.
No,
and then it
We
was my
were
birthday.
going to give you a pity win because it was your birthday, but then you actually came out with an interesting fact. So we won.
For the first
Yeah,
time.
you won a bonus.
For the first time.
No, you gave us a bonus.
Oh,
So
okay.
you won on that.
I feel better about being me.
Yeah. Phil, who are you going to go with?
I am actually going to go with Max.
Yay, pity.
Because partly out of pity, but mostly out of the fact that I didn't realise that the Chinese potentially invented skiing at the same time. I found that interesting.
It's still up for debate.
I thought it was quite good.
I recommend a skiing competition to determine who invented it first. We'll find out.
I am going to vote for Max as well because I can.
Sod off.
Yeah, no, because I related to fencing. So.
Oh, right, okay.
See,
Fair
I
enough.
have reasons,
Did I win that round then?
What?
which means Max wins that round.
Oh, can we do a
Yay!
recount just to make sure?
Yeah, recount them.
2-1-1. Yeah.
Yay! I won on the recount as well.